Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I am your host. And this week, we are talking about the one, the only, one of the greatest video game franchises of all time, Super Smash Brothers. We're going to try to talk about kind of all of it. Now, I am no stranger to Smash, and I am also wearing this Nintendo Rehabilitation Clinic shirt. As you can see, I don't wear it often, but I do bring it out for special occasions such as this. But our patrons and the people on Twitter said they wanted me to talk about Smash, so we're going to talk about Smash, and we're also going to talk about your stories, your experiences with Super Smash Brothers. You can't see it in the frame here, but I actually got a picture from my sister a while ago, or a little poster, of the original 12 Smash characters. And I gotta tell you guys, way back in the day, when Super Smash Brothers came out, it gripped me so hard. It was a pull. I played it at friends' houses. I remember going over to one of my friends' birthday parties for like a sleepover, and I remember like just wanting to play so badly. We played, and then we had to go to sleep, and I couldn't sleep because I was just thinking about Super Smash Brothers, and I was like, oh man, I gotta play it again. And this other kid was there, and he was like, you gotta go to sleep, otherwise the drowsies will get you, because Pokemon was obviously big then too. But Super Smash Brothers, it was just like, back in that time, it was the penultimate. It was like the coolest thing, at least for me. I remember going over to another friend's house, Leo's, who you guys might know from like the channel and stuff. We talked about him, but I remember going over there and playing Smash, playing as Pikachu on Hyrule Castle or Temple, and just sitting in the little green kind of little hut off to the right, and just using Thunder a bunch and trying to kind of hit people who were fighting above me. Man, it was so good. And then like Leo and I, what we would do is when it was just the two of us, and we would get pretty heated about this, because it was always like, it's kind of fun. You play like, 2v2 against computers, and then it was like, all right, let's do some one-on-ones. And there was a lot of like, it got intense, but we'll talk about that when we get to Super Smash Brothers Melee. Super Smash Brothers, just the original, what we do is we crank up all the lives and everything, or the time, like 99 lives or 99 minutes or whatever, and just have fun experimenting and stuff. Like, he would play as Samus, I would play as Kirby, we'd play against a Samus, I'd play as Kirby, he plays Fox or something. I would get Samus's like super kind of sphere power, her blaster, and we would wait for her to like use that, and we'd play on Corneria, which was Fox's ship. And so we'd sit there, and so we'd wait for her to shoot it. I would shoot mine back, and Leo would sit in front of me with Fox, and he would reflect hers, so she would get hit with two of them, because we thought that was so cool. Okay, now this might sound a little bit crazy, but for some odd reason, if you're listening to this and you don't know what Super Smash Brothers is, maybe we should talk about that first before I completely dive down the whole rabbit hole. Super Smash Brothers is a series that came out way back in Nintendo 64, way back in the day, which basically combined a bunch of video game characters together to fight each other in a pretty, PG sort of way. Obviously, they're kind of beating each other up, but it's not like Mortal Kombat. It's not as complex, as far as mechanics go, as something like Street Fighter is, so it was much more accessible. And it had a roster of characters that, even with the 12 that we started with, were just super iconic. The ones I'm looking at here, and I could probably name them without looking. I'm going to try. All right, so Mario, Donkey Kong, Samus, Link, I almost said Zelda, Pikachu, Fox, Captain Falcon, Luigi, Jigglypuff, Ness. Ooh, who else? Who am I forgetting here? I'm sorry. Oh, Kirby and Yoshi. Sorry, I loved Kirby. I'm sorry, Kirby. I'm sorry. But Kirby, Yoshi, and those last. So Ness, Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, Luigi were all like unlockables. So you started with those other 8, and then you could unlock those other guys, which was so cool to me. Because like as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, you get these chances to unlock more characters. Amazing. And playing, I have a twin sister, so obviously we played a lot. Played with one of my older sisters, Amanda, who loved Captain Falcon and would constantly use Falcon Punch, just the Falcon Punch, which, if it connected back in the day more so, was a heck of a move. It still is. It's just not as crazy as it used to be. But man, that game, oh my goodness, playing as Kirby. I remember like using Kirby's pile driver, which is this grab, and then you hit up and he goes off the screen with the character and slams him back into the ground. And I remember like using that like mentally, like going through my day, where I was like, even as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna pile drive this day. I was like, man, like that game, like it was just so cool to me. And before we even got it, before we got this game, my folks were going to get, there's a really good chance, my birthday's coming up, my sister's birthday, obviously we share it, we're twins. We're going to get an N64, probably. And I was like, guys, I talked to them, I was like, guys, I know what happens with N64s. Everybody gets it, and they always get the same game. You know what game that is? Super Mario 64. And I was like, please, 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 do not get me Super Mario 64. Please don't do that. I want Super Smash Brothers instead. And I'm not sure if it was like a bundle deal or whatever it was. But birthday comes around. I'm like, all right, they probably know N64. Oh my gosh, N64. Ah! And then instead of Super Smash Brothers, Super Mario 64, which is a great game. It's so wonderful. But as a kid, especially, who was really more into kind of enjoying this stuff with others, I remember playing Super Mario 64 and being like, this is so cool, but it just isn't like, this isn't the thing. If I want to do single player stuff, I'm going to play Pokemon. That was kind of my thing. That was my idea. So we eventually did get Super Smash Brothers, and I loved it. And back in the day, like I said, I kind of played Kirby, played Fox. I liked Link, but because I never really played Legend of Zelda and those types of games, I didn't feel like it was okay for me to play him. Isn't that crazy? Same with Samus. I was like, oh, do I have like the cred, or do I have like, do I need to be loyal to these franchises to play as these characters or to understand them? But I still eventually kind of like gravitated towards some of those characters. And it was funny because like Fox, like I remember playing Star Fox 64, which is such a good game, but Fox isn't like on the ground until you do like Star Fox Adventures, and it's a completely different character. But it was so cool. I loved the game. I loved the single player, obviously the multiplayer, fighting other things. And I remember one of my biggest victories as a kid was playing as Mario on Saffron City, and I fought against three level 9 Captain Falcons, and I beat them all. How did I do it, you might ask? Well, went to the far right-hand side of the stage, where I think there's like a helicopter landing pad on a building. I sat over there, and I would grab the Falcons when they come in, and I would do that kind of swirling Bowser throw. And then when they'd fall off, I'd throw fireballs at them. See, I kind of cheesed it. So I was doing that stuff before I even knew what that was. But man, that game, so good. So many good memories. I also think of like the really weird like Super Mario 64 level that's got that kind of there's like a stone like beam on the bottom of it that goes back and forth, but there's like a bridge over the top of it. It's kind of like a sky level. I remember playing a lot on that one, and man, it was just like, this is the coolest game ever. It was so cool to me. Even though I still not sure if I'm a huge fan of the art on the actual cartridge itself. It looks kind of too cartoony for me. I guess I'm trying to think what else they would have done, but coming off like Super Mario 64 or Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing, which I still like better than Mario Kart 64. I know. I like Double Dash, though. Double Dash is great. Anyway, I digress. I know this is moving fast, so this is good. So moving on, Melee comes out. Super Smash Bros. Melee. How can you get better than Super Smash Bros.? Super Smash Bros. Melee. What a lot of people consider, or did consider for a while, I'm not sure if this has changed a lot, but to be the most technical of all the Smash Brothers games, the most kind of like, you could really learn it, really dig into it, more like a fighter, like that you'd see in like Mortal Kombat or kind of Street Fighter-esque. Like it was more of a technical beast. It wasn't as it was much more accurate, I think is the word kind of to put for it. And I mean, I'm not someone who dives into that, so I'm not sure if that's totally true, but that's what people have always said. And usually during the tournaments, it was like, oh, they're playing Smash Brothers Melee. It was like kind of nearly perfectly balanced with all the characters, and that was kind of the consideration, the caveat, as it were. I really enjoyed that game. Again, I was playing as Fox. Fox looks so weird in that game. I've always hated how he looks. But then I kind of, and I think like a lot of people, fell in love with not so much Roy, but Marth. And Marth and Roy were like these guys. I was like, who the heck are these swordsmen? They're speaking Japanese. What's this? They're from Fire Emblem? What's Fire Emblem? And we could talk about Fire Emblem another time, but that kind of was a gateway, I believe, for me to get into Fire Emblem. I I don't remember exactly the specifics, but I think it's the seventh Fire Emblem game that came over to the States. So seventh in Japan, but first here in the States. It was just called Fire Emblem. They just called it Fire Emblem for Game Boy Advance. And I absolutely adored that game. But Marth, I loved Marth. And Roy was great too. So that's where it really started to get heated, like with Leo and stuff. He'd be Roy, I'd be Marth. And he was really good with Sheik. Sheik was also very crazy. She was new, just insanely powerful. To me, she was so fast. She would hit so hard. And I was like, oh man, she's so cheap. And I remember he was like undefeated with Sheik. He would just destroy everybody. And I was like, oh, I will not let this happen. So eventually I played as Samus, and I just used her mines, and her little down B, which pops out these little mines, was enough to slow him down, slow his assault, and that allowed me to pull off a victory. And I remember, like, when I was younger, when I would lose in a game like that, I get frustrated. I'm like, ugh, but I'd be like, okay, it's fine. But when I'd win, especially when you're like at somebody else's house, you're like, hey, that was fun. We should try it again. Like, it's like, good game. It just, oh man. And we'll talk about that with Wii U, because that competitive nature still right in here. I don't like it, but it's there. It's there. But I kind of want to talk about a little bit the jump between each of the Smashes as we go, because I thought that'd be kind of interesting. So in Super Smash Bros., like I said, we only had 12 characters that I know of only. But then in Smash Bros. Melee, we jumped up to 26. That's where we get Bowser for the first time too, which we're going to get into Bowser. Don't you worry about that. But that's where I feel like the game started to get, like, Melee started, like, obviously Smash Brothers, the original, in 99. So imagine like a 9 or 10-year-old Jimmy who's just like, ah! And then 2 years later, 2001, when we get Smash Bros. Melee, like, that was the game for a while, because there was a 7-year break between Melee and Brawl. So 2008. So Melee is kind of the game for a long time for us, kind of my early teenage years and a little bit into it. And that was always a fun one to kind of, you go to a friend's house and you all kind of jump in. It didn't, I don't know if it was just a different time in my life, because I remember, like, Smash Brothers, I think when I was a kid, like, going to birthday parties more and, like, it being there and playing it with friends. Melee was more of like a dedicated, like, buddy hangout night. Like, you're like, oh, you want to play some of this tonight? But then because of that kind of separation of time that we had in there, we kind of started to jump to different games and things like that. But then 2008 rolls around, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and this weird Nintendo system called the Wii, which was it was like the Nintendo Revolution for a while or something like that. But again, jumping from 26 characters up to 39 characters, which in a fighting game, I always say there's never enough. Like, you could give me 1,000,000 characters and I'd still be like, yeah, they could use a couple more. I don't know why my brain is like that. It's just stupid, I guess. But I remember something really cool about this, and I was trying to look up some kind of fun facts about Smash Brothers before we started up today, and I remember this so much. Before this released, back in 2008, they had this thing called the Smash Dojo, and it might still be around in some form today, but basically what they did is every day before Smash Brothers came out, they'd put out a little, like, tidbit of information. And for me, that's when I was starting to get more into, like, the internet was just becoming, like, a part of my daily routine. And I remember being, like, so excited. And I will never forget, like, seeing Charizard pop up as, like, a character or whatever. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, Charizard's in this game? And it was like a dream come true, because I was so used to, like, Pikachu and Jigglypuff and Pichu, Mewtwo, whom I love, but I've always felt like is kind of in a weird space. I wish he was faster. Like, he's kind of he does float, obviously, but I want him to be zippier. But maybe that's just, I like, in my imagination, he's like Sonic with his super speed, or like his smash, his ultimate, like with his, like like the Chaos Emeralds, and he's like moving that fast. He wouldn't move like that all the time, but it's my dream, right? But anyway, so that game, I remember seeing Charizard pop up, and I'm trying to remember if Charizard was a specific separate character at that time, because I don't know if he was, or if that was when they introduced, I think Pokemon Trainer shows up in Wii U. Could be wrong about that. We're going to do a live fact check, because you guys deserve it. Bro, oh, I spelled bros correctly. Let's see. Nope, that's when Pokemon Trainer was in. Okay. Yeah, my bad. But I remember just seeing that pop up, and maybe it was Pokemon Trainer altogether, and thinking like, oh my gosh, Charizard's in this game. That's crazy. And because Charizard, I'm that guy. Charizard's like my favorite Pokemon besides Arcanine. Arcanine is like my true favorite. If they put Arcanine in this game, I would lose my mind. I'd be a puddle. I'd be a puddle. Anyway, so we're talking about Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The thing I love about Brawl, that I thought was so cool, I remember my friends coming over and playing it like the night it came out, and like they stayed all night and they like played through Subspace Emissary for the most part, and I like went and slept for a while like that. They used me. It's fine. But I remember liking that so much, and then also liking the actual custom layout or design that you could build your own levels, and I thought that was so cool. I remember building one that was like fully enclosed basically, so you would fight and like everybody's percentage would almost be like maxed out. It's like even one little hit would send them flying, and then it was like you had to it was a top layer where you landed, and then you had to like get down in this thing, so if you ever got knocked out, you get like knocked around in here, and then you have to go like bouncing out to get out of there. Like, it was insane. It was crazy. It was like, whoa. But I remember just making so many fun like little like levels and just having such a good time with that. That was for me a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And then we get into the Wii U, which I didn't own, but my friend Levi, who's been on the show before, you guys know Levi, he owned it. And I would go over to his place, we'd play with our friends. I would get defeated by some characters I would deem less worthy, and I'd get really frustrated and be really intense, and I was like, oh my God. But that's where we start to get the introduction of other crazy characters like Bayonetta and Cloud. Like, such like a crazy, like the franchise is already nuts, right? But like adding these other characters in there is like, what? So I remember enjoying Greninja in that one. He was pretty cool. Baby Bowser was a lot of fun too. I really enjoyed him. And then obviously my standbys, Samus, Fox, stuff like that. I always like to try to change it up, but I always go back to those. And as time goes on, and we'll talk about this too a little bit more in Ultimate, I just love Link. He just has an answer for everything. Like, he's just all around really fun. Yeah, I really like Link. And ever since I played Breath of the Wild, I feel like I can say that now. Which again, you don't have to play these games to enjoy the characters in a completely different game, but it helps me sleep at night. But anyway, I didn't have the Wii U. I enjoyed playing it when I got the chance to do so. But the Wii U is such an interesting, weird console. But ironically, jumping back to Fire Emblem, you can play those Fire Emblem games through their eShop on the Wii U, but they don't have it on Switch yet. Nintendo, please. Nintendo, please. Please help me out here. I want to be an addict. Help me out here. But anyway, so again, we're moving from, which was Brawl, which I said before, had 39 characters. Now we're jumping up to 58 characters in Wii U. And that's 2014, so a 6-year difference. So we had a 7-year jump between Melee and Brawl, and then a 6-year one between Brawl and Wii U. And then 4 years until we would get the craziest game. One of the craziest games that I feel like not a lot of people have talked, like they do talk about it, but it wasn't with the same prestige as it probably deserved. But that was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which came out in 2018, which is crazy because as of the recording of this is 2020. And so it's been out for about a year and a half. It came out the kind of the latter part of 2018. Man, oh man, what a game. So again, let's just talk numbers for a second. Smash Bros. Wii U, 58 characters, and 3DS. We're jumping up now to like 80. It's nuts. It is so like... Again, like I said before, never enough characters, but still, when you think about the sheer size of that roster and the craziness of it, did you ever think you were going to have Mario fighting Sonic, fighting Pac-Man, fighting Banjo and Kazooie? Okay, maybe I knew that was going to happen because I made 2 videos a long time ago saying who's going to be on the Smash roster eventually, and I knew Banjo-Kazooie was coming. I knew it. I just wish Microsoft would have debuted it at E3. That's okay. Anyway, this game, and I still have not played as Banjo-Kazooie. I haven't played as like the DLC characters, but they all look pretty cool to me. Man, this game, and I was jumping back into it recently. It feels so good. It looks so good. It sounds so good. Like that new Smash song is so amazing. I really love it. I like want to make a video about it where it's just like people just showing up out of nowhere with that music. It's just da 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 ba 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 na 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 na. It's just great. It's just super good. Just go listen to it. Also, this calling it Ultimate is great because it brings back every single character from the previous games, which that alone is like a Herculean task, trying to kind of update and change things like that. So Sakurai and the team, like, thank you. That's nuts. But it's a celebration of the franchise. Like, you're sitting in the menu screens and they will play the music from like Melee, or they'll play the music from Brawl. Like, stuff like the music is like the music alone is also insane. I was reading something here. It said they have like over 24 hours worth of music in that game. I'm sure it's that or more, like just crazy, or like 48 hours or something. It's so much. It is so much. And they also have a level creator in here too. I found the other, I was like, oh my gosh, they do have this here. It is a game that is so comprehensive. There's so much in there. And although I didn't play a ton of it, I still love it. And I'm looking at it right now, even though it's collected dust for a little while here. I did pick up the Super Smash Bros. Edition of the Switch, and I do love it. It's beautiful to me. I think it's great. And it's kind of like full circle for me. Even though some of the Donkey Kong looks a little weird on it. It's just like, yeah, this is a franchise that kind of forged my love of gaming, and it is in and of itself kind of a celebration of what games are, and I think almost in its purest form, at least one of its purest forms for me, which is getting people together and just having fun for the sake of fun. And I love that. And I have missed the ability that it used to have before internet kind of took over and everything, but to bring people together, because there's nothing quite like playing Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart or even GoldenEye or Halo in a room with your friends. Like, there's something just about that. And the best thing about Smash Brothers is it doesn't divide up your screen into 4 like sections. It's all just right there. There's no screen peeking in Smash, which is also really good. We didn't have to get the cardboard thing out for Smash, even though I don't know if we ever made that. Did you guys ever do that? Let me know if you ever made for like a first-person shooter, like the cardboard or like the little bisectors, so that way you couldn't look at other people's screens. Hilarious. But yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Link's new bomb, man. Just being able to detonate that when you want, that's so great. Bowser, though, oh my gosh. And we're going to go through these guys pretty quickly. I just going to run through them each and tell you just a little snippet how I like them or don't like them. Bowser, man, the big boy. He's so good. And he's gotten like leaner over the years. He's moving pretty fast. He's still hitting real hard. I love it. Or King Dedede, who I think was Brawl. I loved him a lot too. I still do. I love the big hammer. Some of the big boys. I love the big boys, you know? I love a big boy with a big punch. You know what I'm just... even though I feel like Ganondorf, they probably could have done something a little different than a kind of... and they've changed him up a bit, but being a little different than a Captain Falcon clone-ish kind of thing. It was like he was a little slower and he hit a little harder. Thus, his kind of B hits stronger or harder than Captain Falcon, so it's not the same. Falcons used to be stronger back in the day. Anyway, I digress. But Smash Bros. Ultimate... one of the kind of staple franchises, and this is a staple game of the Switch, and years will pass and I'll still come back to it, and we're going to kind of talk about your stories here, guys, and talk about what it is, for the future of Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's kind of crazy. So one last time, just to go through the character again. Character amounts 12 of them in Super Smash Bros. In the original, and then we jump up to a whopping 26, so we doubled and added a couple for Melee. Pretty good. And then we jump up to 39, so we get 13 more. So by this time, it's basically tripled the number in Brawl. Oh man, 58 for Super Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS. So crazy. And I can't believe that game was on 3DS too. That's And then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 80, or I don't know, infinite at this point. No. But let's go through them real quick, and I'll just give you one little thing about them. Mario, all around great. Donkey Kong, grab him, throw him off the level with you. Link, super duper good. Samus, I love her. Dark Samus, unnecessary. Yoshi, so frustrating. Kirby, hilarious. Fox, my boy. Pikachu, good times. Also, that jumping backwards A, where Pikachu puts out all its arms and both its legs and spins. I call that the Tetra attack. Use that one. People never see it coming. Luigi, kind of a troll. Ness, out of nowhere, along with Captain Falcon, kind of out of nowhere, but brought my attention to those franchises, which I don't think I've played either Mother or F-Zero. But Ness, all right. Captain Falcon, pretty rad. Jigglypuff, when Jigglypuff got that rollout, and if I kind of learned how to use Sleep Talk, also funny. Peach, fun to mess with people. Daisy, why? Bowser, critical, necessary, very, very good, amazing. Ice Climbers, still tough. I like the idea of it. Sheik, please no. Great character, but oh man. Zelda, I wish I was better with. Dr. Mario, okay, why? I like the Electric Punch, but Pichu, any Pokemon, they put Pichu, and it does damage to itself. Ugh. Falco, I used to kind of like. I like that they gave him the ability to kick out his shield eventually. I used to play him, but Marth, love you. Lucina, not as familiar, kind of like Marth, I think. Sorry, the Fire Emblem ones are going to be like that. Young Link, not a fan of necessarily. I'm not a Majora's Mask guy. Ganondorf, I like him. Mewtwo, I love you, I just wish you were better. Roy, he's okay. He's no Marth. Chrome, Mr. Game & Watch, just, with a passion. No, yuck. Except when you hit that hammer, though, at level 9. So funny. Meta Knight, really fun, very cheap. Pit, pretty cheap. It's okay. Dark Pit, why? The dark ones they throw back in there. Don't necessarily need those. Zero Suit Samus, I like, but never had enough time to play with. I still prefer Samus with the suit on. Wario, I'm not a fan of the trolls. Snake, I prefer Sam Fisher, but either way, they're both. It's a weird thing to put in, like, either way. But I'm glad because people love Snake. And I was reading something about that Sakurai and Kojima are actually really good friends, and Kojima was like, please, my kid loves this franchise. Please put Snake in. So he's like, all right. So I'm sure there's more to it than that. But Ike, really fun, hits really hard. Pokemon Trainer, I wish I was better with. I like Pokemon Trainer, but yeah, no, I really like Pokemon Trainer. I just wish you could change it up. So instead of like Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard, it could be like Bulbasaur, Charmeleon, and Blastoise, but that would make it even more complicated. Diddy Kong, I love your racing game. You're a little tricky troll boy, or tricky troll monkey. I like him. He's good. Lucas, it's Ness, pretty much. Sonic, fun, cheap. My mom loves him because he's got that homing attack. I was trying to teach her this a long time ago, Nintendo. I tried to get her in on Super Smash Bros. Brawl. King DDD, my big boy. I love him. Olimar, whatever. He's fine. Lucario, pretty cool. I still prefer Mewtwo, I think, but still decent. Rob, or Rob, he's fine. I always say ROB just because they have it like the periods out there, and someone out there might be correcting me, and they may be like, it's actually ROB. I'm like, I am sorry. Toon Link, I've always loved Toon Link, but I don't like Young Link. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? I just like Wind Waker more, and I found Toon Link to be less grating than Young Link. Yeah, I like Toon Link. I like him. I still prefer regular Link, though. Wolf, I wish I liked more. His up B is weird, or like his over B is weird. There's something weird about, I think it's his up B. It kind of goes like an arc. I don't know. I wish I liked him more, but Fox all the way. Villager, that's going to be a pass. Mega Man, I respect. I wish I could be better with. Wii Fit Trainer, so weird. So weird, but hilarious. So we're okay with that. Rosalina and Luma, fun. Like an advanced version of Ice Climbers, I think, for me. Little Mac, never got good with him. I get it. I'm just not I like to have more of a kit. If I'm going to use somebody who's melee, they're going to have a sword. Great Ninja, wonderful, really cool. Mii Fighter, the Brawler, the Sword Fighter, and the Gunner, they're fine. Okay, yeah. Palutena, I think can be powerful like Zelda. Still no good with her. I'm not. Pac-Man, again, respect like Mega Man. And Robin, I like Robin. Kind of a battle mage from Fire Emblem. That's pretty cool. Shulk, still should learn more about Shulk. Bowser Jr., there you go. I said Baby Bowser earlier. Sorry, Bowser Jr. I like Bowser Jr. Very fast, hits decently hard. Has a lot of fun little gadgets. I like that. Like Link's the same way. I like the gadgets. Those are fun. Duck Hunt, another weird character. Slightly enjoyable. Yeah. Ryu, not a Street Fighter guy. Sorry. Ken, same. Sorry, buddy. I guess I prefer Ken over you. Cloud, great. I would love to see Auron, or Squall, or somebody else from Final Fantasy in there. Cloud taking all of it. That's okay. People love Cloud. Cloud's great. Corrin, I'm not super familiar with. I'm so sorry. I think I know a little bit about Corrin, but not enough. Not enough. Bayonetta, I'd prefer Dante. I'm so sorry. But Bayonetta's fun, and I can see why she's in there now because of Nintendo basically making Bayonetta 3. So a fun character. But I don't know if she like took the spot of Dante. I don't know if that's how things work. I wish Dante were in there. Not that she needs to be in there. They're just both demon hunters and stuff. Also, a really weird pick. It must have been hard to put her in this game to be like, all right, this is a like an E for everyone type of game, kind of. They're like, now it's T for teen because Bayonetta's in here. Inkling, that's really fun. Splatoon, great game. And that's a really cool character. What a fun one. I think that's wonderful. Ridley, people have been calling for him for years. I was playing as him the other day. Really fun character. Tough to get a little bit of a handle on, but he's cool. Simon and Richter, both fun characters. I'm not a huge Castlevania guy, but I still enjoy them a lot. King K. Rool, he's a big boy, so guess what? I love him. He's got his big old golden belly for counters. Hilarious. Isabelle, again, Animal Crossing. I don't know. It's just too jokey for me. Just I get it. I get the synergy, but not for me. Incineroar, cool. Again, still want Arcanine. I still have to download Piranha Plant, who is like newer. It's like if you bought it originally, you get it with them. I was like, okay, cool. Joker, amazing pick. I've not played as him. I would like to get him. Joker seems really, really cool. And if I really get into Smash, maybe I'll consider it. The hero from Dragon Quest XI, but also you can make him look like Dragon Quest VIII. That is excellent. I don't know if we need another sword fighter in this game, but hey, we got it. Banjo and Kazooie. I mean, like, I haven't played as them yet, but like, that's so cool. I think that's really neat. That's just warms my heart. Terry, Street Fighter, I believe. Not familiar. I don't really care. And then Byleth, which I'm still not. Fire Emblem characters. There you go. Again, it's fine. It's great. I don't know. We don't need. There's just so many sword users. There's so many. I get it because like a lot of video game characters use swords. There we go. That's kind of my Super Smash Brothers like journey. I could get even more into it, I'm sure, if we really want to dive into like each character. But I don't want to like, kind of bore you guys. But I wanted to kind of do this and kind of talk about it. But I wanted to hear from you guys. So now it's time for a little bit of that community feedback and questions that I love so much. And I asked you guys, said, hey, we're talking about Super Smash Brothers this week. I want to know, what are your experiences with this game? Because I feel like it's touched a lot of people's lives over the years, and I wanted to get into it a little bit. So over on Twitter, Ryan, you're great, Ryan. Before I forget, the hashtag this week will be hashtag Super Smash. Just hashtag Super Smash. Actually, hashtag Super Smash Bros. There we go. We'll do the whole thing. This game helped me... Oh, okay. Sorry, this is from Ryan Layman 3 on Twitter. He said, this game helped grow my relationship with my brother. We would play all the time. My current favorite character is Robin from Fire Emblem. One of my favorite memories was playing during Christmas with my brother, sister, and brother-in-law. Aww. So I pressed him a little bit because I said that was beautiful. I said, any specific maps or specific entries stand out to him in the series? He said, well, Melee, Wii, and Ultimate. And as for maps, he says Hyrule Temple and Final Destination. Just Final Destination. I love it. And I forget which one, Hyrule Temple, if that's the one I was talking about before. Hyrule Temple, Castle, all that stuff gets a little mixed up for me. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Let's move over here to the Discord, though, because we have some really fun write-ins here. I love it. This one comes in from Mitch. Mitch, thank you for writing in. He says, I remember going to pick up Smash Bros. 64 secondhand after we rented it from Blockbuster. Waiting in the car to see my dad holding the cartridge was so exciting. From then on, it was a series my brother and I played for years, as well as every one of my friends. Overall, I've always liked Link, but 64 main was Fox. He was fast, and his up B was cool. Corneria and Hyrule were the best levels. Agreed. Melee and Brawl was Marth, and I love the Reflect and his overall abilities/speed. Knocked my friend out of the first round of an actual tournament with him. Wii U was Link and Lucina, and Ultimate, I love the Belmonts. The whip has phenomenal range, sort of in a nutshell. So good. Mitch, thank you for sharing that with me. He also gave us a question, too, which I love. I love both. He said, if you could have any character in Smash, what would it be? What item would you add, and what is the stage like? Except you do that anyway. So they might all have to be together. That's tough. As we said, Arcanine would be pretty good, but Pokemon has got a lot of representation. And some of the games I like more nowadays are like too mature, probably. But as I look up briefly, I think I know who I'd want to have in there. I would have Death from Darksiders. He would be in there. His stage, you could pick any of the cool kind of fantasy stages you see from Darksiders 2. Him or War, both of those guys would be so much fun. And as an item, I might just add like Despair or Ruin, their horses that you could just like pop out and then you could jump on them and you could ride across the stage or something. You could charge into somebody. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it's not super crazy, but that'd be really fun. I like Darksiders, and I think the cartoony look of those guys would fit in pretty well with that. Yeah, because I know people have joked about this where they're like, oh, what if we put like Star Wars characters in there or like Disney characters like Mickey Mouse. I don't know. I love that stuff, but I don't know if I'd really want that in there. Another one a lot of people have talked about in the past, and he was on it was like Project Z, but Sora from Kingdom Hearts, that'd be great too. Like if you're gonna try to go Disney and you can't like really like, I know we talked about swords and sword users, but Sora's got a fun little suite of abilities with magic that you could really have fun with, I think. Yeah, Sora would be cool, and then you could pick like Traverse Town as the stage. It's kind of a nice, cozy, warm little town. And then for items, you could either like summon a gummy ship to blow stuff up, or I don't know, that's that kind of thing. That'd be me. And then his other question he has for us is: should Ultimate just be ported forever? What can top Ultimate? What would it take? I think it really depends on what Nintendo's going to do going forward, because obviously the Switch is a big success, and I don't know how long it would be before they would consider making another console. Because every time they make a new console, I think there's this kind of hope that like many people have, where it's like, all right, you better come out with a new like Mario Kart, and new Smash Brothers, all right? Please. So, I think, man, that's a good question. The only way they can top Ultimate, I think, is to do what Ultimate did. And you can call it whatever you want, and then people will probably say, like, you just call the next one Penultimate, or or something like that. But just put everything possible back in there, because I think from now on, if you make any more Smash games, you have to include all this stuff. Otherwise, people will be like, well, you had it in Ultimate. Why did you get rid of that character? Or why'd you get rid of these characters or that stage or whatever? So that's the way I would say you could do it. So the only way to top Ultimate is to be Ultimate and then to add on to it with just even more stages, more characters, and maybe even a crazier kind of storyline, because I think in Ultimate, the one thing that I kind of lacked, or that was kind of a little bit of a drag or a bit of a grind, was their the Echoes thing or whatever. You had to fight through all that stuff and it took forever to do. It was kind of cool, like building, like getting a character and like giving them like special abilities and stuff, like you could start off with different items or all that kind of things, like making you like stronger. But I think having something more like Subspace Emissary again would be really cool. That'd be great. And also maybe do something where it's not like, maybe Civil War it a little more, as opposed to being like, it's a big new like super alien thing that's coming to destroy us all. What if it was just them fighting each other? Because back in the original Super Smash Brothers, it was like little toys coming to life. Like if you go watch that original, like the HAL Laboratories in the beginning, Sakurai, I'm thinking Kirby, but like they come to life. And then in Melee, they did the same thing, but now it's like they're just real characters living, like, and fighting each other. I don't know why, but that's what I think it would take to top Ultimate. But again, this question is for everybody else out there too. So if you could have any character in Smash, which character would it be? What item and what kind of stage would you have? And then, and should Smash ever, like Ultimate, do we ever top it? How do we top it? Here comes a few more kind of write-ins here, and I love these comments so much. This one comes from Missile Mage. He says, my personal thoughts on Smash is that it's super cool that a game was able to bring so many franchises together. He's never played it, though. Fair enough. I like it. Bearded Scotsman 86 over on Discord says, I played a lot of the first Smash with friends. Don't enjoy it so much now since I just play against CPU. I hear that, man. I'm just trying to work my way back up to level 9s. I used to be able to crush level 9s. Now look at me. This one comes in from Fragadim. I'd always wanted to get into Smash, even since Melee on GameCube. The controls always threw me off a bit. I was determined to get it on Switch, and I did, and had a lot of fun with it the first 2 weeks. Then my focus sort of died out on it. I understand. Only once in a blue moon will I play the game with friends, though I do tend to want to play it again and get the rest of the characters I have yet to unlock. But the overall premise of having so many celebrated characters of franchises in video games come together in a fighting game is such a great concept. The concept alone is enough to draw anyone in, even if they don't play fighting games. Perfectly put. Perfectly put. Thank you. That's so good. I agree. And again, I think that's one of the reasons I get pulled into something like Injustice when it comes out. Because I'm like, oh, look at all those superheroes. I love having them fight each other. And if they ever did a New Age Injustice versus Marvel, DC thing, that would be, that'd be so much fun. But, and Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is the one I kind of got into. It was maybe the closest like fighting game that I ever got kind of technical on, maybe Injustice 2 a little bit as well. But Super Smash Brothers was it's just so accessible, and anybody can hop in and enjoy it to some degree. You don't have to memorize a ton of different combinations with characters, because every character, at their core has at least the same kind of Smash moves, more or less. And I know people out there who are like really into Smash are like, how dare you? They're so different. But the ability to just like, if you tap A, it's like a small hit. If you like hold over an A, it's going to be like a bigger hit. And you can kind of do that in every direction. And then B is like your special. So down B, everybody's got down B and over B and up B. And up B for everybody's usually something to help you kind of like elevate yourself to get you back onto a stage. And just the idea of saying like, it's so different because in all fighting games pretty much up until like the original Smash, it was deplete a health bar for the most part. That I could be wrong, but this is the first one to be like, hey, what if it was a percentage? And as the percentage went up, you could knock a character off the stage and that would take away one of their lives. That was so cool. I think that's so neat. And you could still play with like 300 like health. You can do that type of thing too, where it's like you have that and then when that depletes, you're like done. That's fine. But I think there's still something about that classic Smash to smash and hit, and it feels good and just crushing guys. I love it. And if you guys want a fun little throwback, go and look up the original commercial for Super Smash Bros. 64. It's like Mario, like people in a Mario and like Yoshi and Pikachu costume, and they're playing like this old song about just like, oh my gosh, I can't see me loving nobody but you. I think that's the one. Yeah, and then they start fighting each other. It's great. Anyway, it's really fun, and it's just like classic, like old 90s, early 2000s type of thing. So good. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I really love Super Smash Brothers. I think it's such a great franchise. It's so cool, and I still keep coming back to it, even though it's not the same, it doesn't have that same kind of potency, I think, as it once did, especially when I was a kid and I was hanging out with my buddies all the time. It's not to that degree. And even if we did play online all the time, it still loses a little something, but it still brings people together and brings video game lovers together and characters together, which is just, it's crazy. And I think that is so, so cool. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, there you go, guys. That's just me talking about Super Smash Brothers all by myself here for like 40 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think of this kind of single or singular format where we're kind of focusing on one game, one movie, or something like that too, because I would love to hear back from you guys. Please, please, please. And again, the hashtag this week will be hashtag Super Smash Bros. And you can tweet that at me. I am at JimmyGood013. Yes, 013. I'm trying to get Twitter to give me a regular Jimmy Good, or at Go Critical. That works too. But in future, if you have a question or a topic for the show, hashtag Critical Podcast. That's a way to get a hold of us, or hit me up on the Discord that we have as well. If you want in, just let us know. We also have an email, which is gocriticalreviews@gmail.com. Please, please, please send me. I just want feedback or a question or comment or whatever. I want to hear from you. I really do. That would be excellent. And a huge, huge thank you to all of our patrons over on Patreon. It's huge. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are making this thing happen all the time, and I really, 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 really thank you for that. If you want to support us, that is the best way to do so. Just throw us $1 over there. Please donate to us. We could really, really use it, and we can use that to make things even better and greater. Yeah, we've gotten a few new people here recently, so thank you for everyone, and also people who are donating or subbing over on Twitch. I appreciate that as well. I stream over there usually once, maybe twice a week, usually Mondays, but I've been trying to do it more because it's kind of a weird time as of this recording. And people are going to understand what that is. Yeah, I appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much. Please, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome. can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Did that even mute any of that? I don't.